This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we unleash the Wolf Pack. How you feeling,
what's up,
Cam?
man?
You feeling good?
I am. Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Gonna go get a workout in after this. It's a light week for me, so feeling good.
So let me ask you, if let's say over the next 4 years, Tua next year goes to the wild card round, they get eliminated.
Okay.
Second year, he goes to the conference round, they get eliminated. Third year, they go to the divisional round, they get eliminated.
Okay.
Fourth year, they go to the divisional round, they get eliminated. How they treating Tua right now?
I see where you're going here. I mean, I think you treat him pretty good, to be honest.
No. You're talking about common sense here. No. I'm not asking you, okay? Because you've had common sense from the get-go with Tua.
Right, but how
you weren't the absolute idiot.
Asking me, though.
No, but I'm just saying because you were the. No, I'm trying to tell you about the public, not you. Because let's go. You've always been common sense guy. You were never the absolute. Oh, Tua's too short. He doesn't have a strong enough arm. He can't run a high powered. You were like, hey, listen. I like the kid, but I got to see it. That's you were the wait and see guy, and you've waited and you see. So you're a common sense guy. I'm telling you what's outside of you. It's not common sense. So I'm just wondering what would be the public reaction for Tua, considering what you've seen now, if he actually goes to the playoffs 4 straight years with those results.
So obviously it's never happened, so I can't say for sure, but I do think that the narrative without truth, once you have success, it's about reaching that next level, right? And so you're referring to Josh Allen, obviously, but I think the narrative on Tua is what the narrative eventually will be on Josh Allen. Maybe it would have came sooner with Tua. Is he good enough to take you over the hump? That's going to be the question. It may not have come from for Josh yet, but I think it will and should. But for Tua, it would certainly, that would be the question. You haven't got past the championship round. You haven't got to the Super Bowl. In the case you're mentioning, Josh Allen was 5 years in. Tua was in that situation. I think that the rightful question would be, can he get you over the hump? Is he the right guy to get you over the hump? Yeah. So that's the question that I think he would face, and I think that Josh Allen will eventually face too.
Yeah, and notice how we treat Dak, which it's kind of again understandable, not getting over the hump, but it just seems like the criticism is stronger in other areas than it is for Josh Allen. That's all I'm saying.
So Josh Allen's
this game. Oh, he needs a better second receiver.
Right. Josh Allen is such an interesting case study. I was actually talking to a buddy about this because Josh Allen, talent-wise, may be number one, if not definitely number two, among all quarterbacks in talent. But too often he doesn't realize his talent. And so it's I think part of the media perspective is you saw how bad Josh was when he first got in the league. He was, I think, the worst quarterback in completion percentage in the league his rookie year, maybe even his second year too. Like he was definitely in the bottom 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then he made a big jump. He did make that big jump in year 3 and year 4 to become an MVP caliber quarterback. And now it's like, is this a ceiling? And so I think people are a little delayed to criticize Josh because you saw how far he came. But in the same respect, eventually it becomes you got to take the kitty gloves off. And it's not about how much you've improved. It's about how good you are and how much you can lead your team to. And so I think that when we're referring to Tua, the conversation for him was such is he good enough to be a franchise quarterback, right? That was the question for 2 years. I think now, at least in this year 3, he's proven that he is good enough to be your franchise quarterback. And now the question's changed. Now the question is he healthy enough to be your franchise quarterback? Can you count on him to be on the field to give you that number? And so the question always changes with these quarterbacks. It's changed from Josh Allen on is he accurate enough to be this team's quarterback to now, is he good enough to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback? And so I do think it has happened slower for Josh than it has happened for Tua, but the question is going to come.
Look at Joe Burrow, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Second best quarterback in football is Joe Burrow. I think he made pretty clear that he surpassed Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, whoever we had up there. I think it's pretty clear that it's Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Now, there's a weird conversation today about Joe Burrow being over Patrick Mahomes, which I am not.
No, not yet.
But I do think there's a pretty clear 1-2 in this league: Mahomes, Burrow, and then the rest of the guys.
Well, the thing about Mahomes is that he crosses the threshold that Josh Allen can't cross.
Yeah.
Where he can stay in the pocket and beat you because he's consistently accurate from the pocket. Whereas Josh Allen is not consistently accurate from the pocket, and he needs his mobility in order for it to be a weapon. Whereas Mahomes can use his mobility as a weapon, but he uses it only out of necessity. He doesn't use it because he needs it in order to be successful. Russell Wilson, not this Russell Wilson, but the normal Russell Wilson did the same thing. He didn't run to run. He didn't run because, Lamar Jackson has to run. If not, he can't be an effective quarterback. No, he ran because he had no choice, just like Mahomes. He runs because he has no choice. He has to try to extend the play. But if not, he can bust his leg up like he just did in this game and then say, okay, that's all right. I'll do the same thing Brett Favre did years ago when his leg was stiff. I'm a pocket passer anyway. I'll beat you from the pocket. And I think that's what Joe Burrow has over, a guy like Josh Allen, that Joe Burrow can literally just stay in the pocket and kill you. And to me, that's always going to be the most valuable quarterback, is the guy that can stay in the pocket. It's beautiful when you have mobility, and that's what Mahomes has, and that's what I love what I'm seeing from the Philly kid. The Philly kid is learning how – yeah, dude, he's learning how to pass.
Yeah.
That's where he's killing you.
He's so improved as a passer.
Right. Where Lamar Jackson has not made those strides, and he's been longer in the league. And Justin Fields is still too green. I love his moxie, but he still doesn't have that accuracy. And to me, that's what you have to be. You have to be Russell Wilson. You have to be Pat Mahomes with the mobility thing. But you have to be able to win from the pocket at all times. And to me, that's Josh Allen's problem right now, that he really can't live in the pocket and beat you because he'll have those erratic throws in every game that he still has them no matter what. They're not as often as they used to be in his early years, but they still happen because he's still not pinpoint consistent like Joe Burrow is and Pat Mahomes.
So I have three things to say. I'm going to make a statement about Josh Allen, and I'm going to give you two takes because it is, what is this, Tuesday at 10:45. And so I'm feeling like giving a mild take and something that may be a heavy take. So first, Josh Allen, I believe there's an interesting question this offseason about if there needs to be somebody that puts more pressure on him. Because Brian Daboll was very good at being critical of him, getting elements out of him that I don't know they've got out of him this year. He has the Superman tendency. He loves to put the cape on. And when you get Superman Josh Allen, you get either 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, or you get 400 yards and 4 interceptions. It's not a lot of balance there. He's going to put the game on his back, and he's either going to win it or lose it based on the flow of the game. And too much of quarterback play has to be your consistency, your trustworthiness. And I don't know if he ever will be a player that you can trust to not make that mistake. That's something that I think the Bills are going to have to figure out this offseason. Now for my two takes. One's a milder take that I think some people will agree with. I think that the media has been building up this Josh Allen Mahomes rivalry as this was going to be the next Manning Brady, when in reality, I think it's Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
I think that is the rivalry. That's going to be the rivalry that defines our generation. Maybe Josh Allen becomes the Ben Roethlisberger or the Phillip Rivers, where he's one of the good guys, the great guys, but he is not the two that define the franchise like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady did. You can say whoever is whoever, but I think Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are the guys of this generation. And the cool part is I think Mahomes, who's the more talented guy and the better quarterback, is 0-3 against Burrow in the last 13 months. And so there's a fun rivalry there that's building that I don't know if the rest of the media landscape is caught up on, but I love it, and I can't wait to see it on Sunday. My second take, and I love Joe Burrow, but I'm seeing some of the conversations on sports talk shows this morning, and it reminds me of what I mentioned on social media like a month ago, and I got a lot of backlash. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most underrated player in football. And people's reactions, how could the MVP be the most underrated player? I think we get so spoiled about Patrick Mahomes. We get so complacent about him because we've seen it. Yes, he's Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so what? And my take about that is we forget just how much he can do. You mentioned his mobility. You mentioned his ability to pass, his ability to win. He's doing all this without – we've seen what Tyreek Hill can do. He's doing all this without Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith-Schuster is his number one wide receiver. Obviously, he has Travis Kelce. But outside of Travis Kelce, there's no one there that scares defenses, and he's having one of the best seasons of this decade.
Although I love the Florida kid that they got from the Giants.
Kadarius Toney, when he's on the field,
if that kid stays healthy, yes. If that kid stays healthy and screws his head on right, Kadarius Toney is a star in the making, bro.
Yes, he can certainly be, but let's be real. The Chiefs have not felt much of that this year. They felt it in really small spurts, and that's why you're saying that, because you see the potential. But it hasn't really been a huge impact on their offense this year.
No.
He hasn't been on the field. And so I just think that we underestimate and we really take for granted Patrick Mahomes.
I agree.
This dude is the best quarterback and I want to put in perspective that I've only covered the league for 8 years now. But Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've seen with my eyes in the 8 years I've covered this league.
You're rotating receivers in and out like you did with Brady.
Yep.
But you are keeping the steady tight end like you did with Brady.
You are, and Andy Reid's a heck of a coach.
You're rotating running backs like you did with Brady.
Yes.
So there's a lot of Brady-esque in what you're talking, and that shows his value, that when you keep changing, the chess pieces around, but yet you're still winning the game, then that's all you need to know about who the hell Patrick Mahomes is. So I think you're 1,000% right on that.
Right. And 5 straight AFC championship games. Now, he will have to get more Super Bowl titles to ultimately be in that GOAT talk. But I believe by the end of and maybe this is taking this too far, but like I said, it's Tuesday at 10:45, 10:50, and I got takes to get off. I believe by the time Mahomes' career is done, there will be a conversation about Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes like there is with LeBron and Michael Jordan about who the greatest of all time is. And I don't think it may not be fully clear. There's always going to be some people who will argue, hey, my GOAT is Tom Brady or my GOAT is Patrick Mahomes. But I think that he will have done enough that it's a legitimate argument, and you can't blame whoever says who their GOAT is. Yeah. That's how much I think of Patrick Mahomes.
I'm with you. I have no problem with that when we talk about Mahomes that way. And by the way, do you have the Bengals or the Chiefs winning? Because I picked it. By the way, I picked the Bengals this week against the Bills. Okay, straight up money line and the points. So I had the Bengals winning the game. I would have picked the Bengals against Kansas City this week with a healthy Mahomes. They own Kansas City. Now with a gimpy Mahomes, which I think he's going to be really gimpy this week, because I think that ankle, he was on all adrenaline this week. I'm going Bengals. How about you?
So as much as I just said about Patrick Mahomes and how great he is, I've covered 3 1/4 Bengals games. I call the Bills-Bengals cancel game a quarter game. I've covered 4 Chiefs games now, and I've covered 3 1/4 Bills games. The Bengals are the best team I've seen in the AFC this year. And I said that. I've said it publicly, and I think the Bengals win on Sunday. I think they're the best team in the AFC, and I don't know why they haven't got more respect, but I think they show on Sunday, and I think they make it back to the Super Bowl again.
All right, I like it. By the way, I just got this. produced by John Veravos and Greg Williamson. Love Rocks, New York City, The Beacon Theater. James Taylor, John Mayer, Sheryl Crow, Gary Clark Jr., Pat Benatar, Mavis Staples, St. Vincent, Jim James, Rufus Wainwright, Stephen Marley, Allison Russell, The War and Treaty, and Bernie Williams, all performing. That is one hell of a lineup there, bro.
Strong.
Man.
That's strong.
That's crazy, man. What do you got? You got anything special you're going to do over the next couple of weeks? Shows?
I will be at the Pro Bowl next week, so I'll spend a week in Vegas. And so we'll have to figure out, I think we did this last year. We'll have to figure out what times we're going to do for the show because I don't know if I want to wake up at 6 a.m. Vegas time and do
by the way, I'm in Mobile next week.
Okay. All right. So you're at least in Central Time. So we're at least a little closer to what it is. But yeah, I got Pro Bowl all next week. So I'm heading to Vegas on Monday. I'll be there through the week. I don't have a game this week. And so I'll be a fan like you guys. I'll be at the crib and have a few drinks and see who's going to the Super Bowl. And so that'll be my next 2 weeks.
All right. What happens with defensive coordinator with the Miami Dolphins? What are you hearing, bro?
Yeah, so they're waiting just like everyone for Vic Fangio to make a decision. I think that he's the guy, from what I understand, that they would love to go get. But Vic has a lot of options, and so
come on,
Vic has a lot of options.
Is Vic really coming here?
That's why I said he has a lot of options. I can't tell you that he's coming here. I don't know. Like
I think Miami's like his fourth option, dude.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what his hierarchy is. I do know the Dolphins have a lot of interest in him. That being said, a lot of people have a lot of interest in him. I think one thing to watch for Vic Fangio is if Jonathan Gannon, the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator, ends up getting one of those gigs, particularly in Houston. I think that's where he's a top candidate there. Then Vic Fangio is a top candidate to stay in Philadelphia as their defensive coordinator. He's been a consultant with the Eagles this year, and he also has family from that area. And
he inherits a hell of a defense.
Exactly. That had 70 sacks this year. So to me, that's going to be, if Dolphins fans are watching a search, that may be one to watch because it may be hard for him to turn down that Eagles gig if it becomes open. Now, if it's not open, it doesn't matter. And then also the Sean Payton situation. He obviously has a relationship with Sean. And so if Sean doesn't go to Denver, because obviously Vic was the head coach at
going to Denver.
Then obviously Sean Payton would be a heavy candidate to grab Vic Fangio as well. But I will say if they don't get Vic, look at some of the Denver San Fran disciples that they're interviewing. Sean Desai is one of them. I do think that they probably, although I think Anthony Campanelli is a great energy guy, a great guy inside the building. I do think more likely than not, they bring in an outside guy that's from one of those schemes to run this defense. Let
me throw it out. I threw it out yesterday on Twitter. This is what I think is happening. I think Sean Payton is going to Carolina. Okay. I think Houston is the backup plan. Okay. I think Arizona and Denver are no targets for him whatsoever because he doesn't want the headache of trying to resurrect Russell Wilson or dealing with an immature Kyler Murray. Okay. Houston has $40 million in cap space. They have the 2nd and 12th picks in the draft. They have, I believe it's 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Panthers have already a defense set. They've got enough talent on defense that's really sexy. They've got the 9th pick in the draft and the 39th. They're going to have to give up some compensation in order to acquire Sean Payton. So he will have less draft capital in Carolina than he will in Houston. But I think he's using Denver and the Walmart money as the leverage because obviously that guy's got more money than God. But David Tepper, who owns Carolina, is worth $18 billion himself. Yeah. So
and he's not afraid to make big splashes. We saw that with Matt Rule.
Right. So you use Walmart to give you the 20 to 25 million you want per year, and then that forces Houston and Carolina to play ball, and Carolina will probably want him so badly that they'll pay because they did already with Matt Rule, like you just said. Tepper's got money. I don't think he wants to go to those two because of that. I think he wants to go to Carolina or Houston. And then I think Fangio goes with him because he's not going to Miami because it's not for nothing. But let me just use common sense out there, please, Dolphin Nation. Don't get mad at me. Fangio has to look at it from Fangio's point of view. Well, I'm going down to Miami. Are they going to survive for the next couple of years? I'm not so sure. But Sean Payton getting a new contract at 20 to 25 million, they're not firing him for years to come. I'm 64. I can write my ticket under Payton for a few years, and I can retire wherever I want. Option two, the kid leaves in Philadelphia. I'll take over a championship caliber team and championship caliber defense. So for Dolphin fans, if you put yourself and you're objective and you put yourself in Fangio's shoes, why would you go to Miami, bro? Why?
It is warm here. It's warm
enough. It's warm enough in Carolina, and it's warm enough in Houston, and they got plenty of money, and they got cap space, and they got all that, and if he goes with Sean Payton, he has job security for
right. No, I understand, and these are a lot of reasons why. Like I said, I'm not sure if he ends up choosing this place. Yeah. Steve Ross has big pockets too, but there's a lot of dilemmas.
That's not the point right now.
There's a lot of elements there. Two things I want to leave you with, and I'm gonna go get a workout in.
Go ahead.
On this Sean Payton thing, this is one of the more interesting cycles that we've been following. There's still not a guarantee that Sean Payton leaves television. He's doing a lot of these interviews, and he doesn't get what he wants. He doesn't find the team that he wants. There's no guarantee that he leaves. So that's something to watch in that respect. It's not like, it's Carolina or Houston. It's Carolina or Houston or TV, or Carolina, Houston, Denver, or TV. So that's a part of it that they're competing with as well. And he lives in the LA area. And so I think if the Chargers job would have opened up, he would have been jumping hands and fists over that. Cause sometimes you underestimate how much people want to live next to where they want to live, And so the other element of that, and you mentioned Carolina, what I'm interested to see is if for whatever reason Carolina becomes the team, the favorite to land Sean Payton, how much of a NFC South tax does New Orleans put on that? Because you remember that's a division team. And so you're trading your coach who retired on you to a division rival. Maybe that first round and the third round pick becomes 2 first round picks and a third round pick as far as compensation I need to trade you to a division rival. And does that nix a deal? Does that have any impact there? I think that's going to be a interesting element to watch, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So a lot of fray in the land.
Hold on a second. Will, were the Dolphins and the Colts in the same division when they got Shula? Dolphins and Colts were in the same division when they got Shula,
right?
Were the Knicks?
Colts will still do that deal?
Were the Knicks and the Heat in the same division when they got Riley?
Were they?
I don't know.
Well, they were in the same conference, but I don't. Maybe the same. Were they the same division?
I think they might have even been in the same division. I think
maybe.
I think the Knicks and the Heat were in the same division when they traded for Riley.
Well, I will say on the Shula part,
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to come up with.
You're bringing up a good point. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that there may be an extra.
When you're on with an old fart that's been around.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it can be done. I'm just saying there's probably going to be extra tax if there is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if you remember with Shula,
that's why Houston is sexy to me, second place to him than Carolina, because Houston's got more picks.
Right.
They have the second and the 12th pick. So you could actually either give them the 12th or give them the 24th, 2024 first rounder instead or whatever. But Houston has more picks and they have $40 million of cap space. They already have a left tackle in place. So if he can get a quarterback, he's already got the guy that's going to protect his blind side at least right away. So there are elements there where, and I know he's going to have to probably boot out Nick Caserio or whatever, but there are elements there that he can go in Houston, and they got plenty of money too. That's also a deep pocket owner. So that's why I find Houston sexy, because Houston can survive the trade and still have, draft capital to be effective, is my point.
Interesting. It's interesting. Interesting dynamics.
Yeah.
I think that it'll be fun to watch.
All right, what do you got going on the NFL Network before we let you go?
So this week, I don't have anything on my schedule as of this week. I'm hanging with the wife and doing a bunch of errands. So they gave me a few days. And so we'll see if something pops up in one of these coaching searches. They may throw me on TV. But for the rest of the week, I'm getting ready to go to Vegas next week for the Pro Bowl and, doing some work from the house. And so.
All right. So next week, it'll be fun. Our segment, I'll be in Mobile getting some info. You'll be in Vegas getting some info.
Absolutely.
That's why they tune into this platform.
That's why they do it,
All right, baby. I appreciate you, man. Be safe. Enjoy the family. Thank you for taking some time.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
You got it. There you go. Cam Wolfe, baby. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.